Hi, my name is Marian Andre Rizoiu. I lead the Behavioral Data Science Lab at the University of Technology, Sydney. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about interdisciplinary research done together with communication scientists Amelia Jones and Francesco Bailo, literary scientist Emily Booth, and computer scientist Chiu Kong. I'm going to be talking to you about slipping to the extremes, our proposed method to explain how extreme opinions infiltrate online discussions. Whenever discussing about problematic content, there tends to be two types of methods that one can use. One are computational and quantitative methods, usually relating to large-scale monitoring of social media. These have the advantage of a wide array and recall, however, they tend not to be too precise in their analysis. The second type of method is qualitative and ethnographic approaches done by experts in the field, usually via surveys. They tend to be very precise, but they lack representativity. Today, what we are trying to achieve is, can we leverage both qualitative and quantitative analysis using advanced machine learning to be able to annotate large data sets of problematic speech? Also, we try to understand how problematic opinions arrive to influence and infiltrate online discourse. We do this in 3 steps. The first step is a qualitative study where, starting from 3 social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, qualitative researchers independently annotate the data with an inter-annotator agreement of 81%. They immerse the vocabulary of annotations and then we obtain, and they label 614 postings with 65 opinions, including things like climate change is a UN hoax, United Nations is corrupt, or men are being chemically emasculated by the government. The second step of our work is collecting data at scale. Using a keyword approach, we collect data from CrowdTangle, YouTube, and Twitter developer, and we have a total of 13.3 million postings, most of them being Facebook posts and Twitter posts. Finally, we leverage our proposal, the human-in-the-loop annotation. Simply put, we use the labeled postings to train state-of-the-art neural network classifiers for opinions. We use the output of the classifiers to sample a limited amount of new data to be labeled. We have 3 strategies. One is an active learning strategy, which tends to select in postings of which the classifiers are least sure of. We have a strategy which selects the postings of which the classifier is most sure of, and then we have a random strategy. The qualitative researchers then go and label this limited amount of data and reintroduces it into the database. The procedure is being iterated until convergence. And here I'm showing you on the x-axis the iterations that have been performed, and on the y-axis the performance measures. On the left you have the macro accuracy, and on the right you have the macro F1. There's a couple of things to observe in these graphics. First, the performance improves as more batches are being performed, which is expected. Also, the gap between the generalization error, which is obtained via cross-validation and shown here in gray, and an error on an independent test set, shown here in solid red, reduces as more iterations are being performed and as the algorithm explores more of the space. However, what we also observe is that after the 6th iteration, there is no more performance improvement, which means that the algorithm has converged. So then we label the entire data set, and what we obtain is an analysis of the volume of these opinions. We see that their distribution of popularity is long tail, which is expected. But also we observe that 4 out of the top 6 opinions tend to be conspiracy-related opinions, as labeled by our social scientists. In order to understand the dynamics of these opinions, we look at opinion co-occurrence. We consider, in here I'm showing you as the points being individual opinions, and there are edges between 2 opinions when the 2 opinions have co-occurred within a posting. The node size indicates the degree, and the color indicates the centrality. What we observe, we make a couple of observations. We see that conspiracy opinions, for example, Australian bushfires were lit to promote climate change agenda, or that Australian bushfires were linked to elite technologies, tend to have very high centrality values, which means that they are being selectively used in conjunction with a number of many other opinions, including the more central ones like the United Nations is corrupt or that climate change isn't real. We form our hypothesis that conspiracy opinions are being introduced in the vocabulary in the mainstream media vocabulary by co-occurrence with the more accepted and larger opinions. In summary, I have shown you a mixed qualitative and human-in-the-loop machine learning approach to annotate at scale large data sets. I have presented how to build such an annotated data set for online problematic content, and I have presented you a hypothesis on why and how fringe opinions infiltrate mainstream discourse via co-occurrence with established opinions. See more in our paper. Thank you so much.